Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What's on the Shelf. My name is Celise, and today the book we'll be talking about is the Leader Phrase Book. And it's 3,000 powerful phrases that put you in command. So, the book was written by a man named Patrick Alleyne, and he is the internationally known game developer of Grand Theft Auto, among others. And he wrote this book because he wanted to give people the tools that are invaluable to use to put yourself in command in any situation. So he is from Paris, France. He went to school and got his master's degree at the University of Paris, and he is currently married and living in San Diego, California with his wife and his child. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to use this book. You see that? So, how to use this book. The book is used with flexibility in mind. So it gives you different phrases to use in general conversation. If you're at work, whether you're negotiating, in conflict and anger, among several other situations. And it doesn't just give you broad phrases to use just in those phrases, but in specific situations when you're at work, like how to ask your boss for a raise or how to say no to your boss, which we all know is scary because we all want to keep our jobs. So let's get into this. The first part that I wanted to talk about was at work. So each chapter starts with a phrase, and this one says, "Great work is done by people who are not afraid to be great," by Fernando Flores. And then the book also gives you tips to keep in mind while you're using these phrases. So for at work, the first tip is to speak positively, and then to think before you speak, to finish each thought before moving on, prepare your speeches, and to write like a leader. So then it goes into the different situations, like how to ask for a raise. And I want to show you this right here, if you can see that. It gives you the topic, how to ask for a raise, and then it also gives you like a gradient line of what would be a more professional way to ask for a raise, and then what's a more confrontational way to ask for a raise. And the one thing I will say about this is it doesn't really tell you which way to go necessarily. I would say maybe linger on the less confrontational side, but that's just me. I can't even say go towards more of the middle because each situation is so different. It really could be anything. So it's kind of more of a use your best judgment or what works for you kind of thing. At least that's what I got from it. So let's see. So for how to ask for a raise, you could say something more along the lines of, can we look at my compensation and discuss my salary? Or if you want to be more confrontational, you could say, if I don't get a raise right now, I'm out, which I would not suggest. So that was one part. And then it also says how to ask for time off. And asking for time off is never easy either because we're supposed to be at work and doing our jobs. But you know, everyone needs some R&R, and it can be stressful trying to ask for time off because you don't want to make it seem like you don't want to be there or like you're lazy. So this book gives you some good ways to deal with that. It starts off calmly and say, if it's okay, I'd like to discuss taking some time off. And then all the way to, I've earned some time off and I'm going to take it, no questions asked. Again, let's stay away from that dark green line right there. That's a no-no zone. So the next part of the book I wanted to talk about is, let's see, I believe it's conflicts and anger. So the quote that this one starts off with is, "People who fly into a rage will always make a bad landing," by Will Rogers. And the tips for this is to communicate and compromise, keep on course, so don't deviate and try to bring up a past argument, because then that's just kind of throwing more fuel on the fire, and that's what we don't want to do. You want to keep a calm attitude and a clear head, and listen with empathy, because the more you understand something, the more you try to relate to someone, the better it is to understand why they feel a certain way and why maybe this conflict is happening, why they're angry, and we can deal with these things better. So, the part of conflicts and anger, the first one that I wanted to talk about is how to deal with an offensive statement. When someone has said something to offend you, whether it was on purpose or not, it's still something that can catch us off guard sometimes, and don't really know how to react initially. So this one really gave you a good range of phrases, starting off with friendly and like in a joking manner. You certainly have a great command of the idiom, which if someone offends me, I'm not going to go the joking route because my feelings are hurt and I want to communicate that effectively. So I would probably go with, your statement really upset me. I'm surprised you said that. So that lets them know that what they said hurt my feelings, and that I wasn't expecting them to say something like that to hurt my feelings. And I think maybe they'll understand, who knows. Or you can go very assertive and say, I will not tolerate this kind of talk or treatment, which on this one, I don't think that's a terrible way to go. It is kind of not abrasive, but definitely more assertive than the phrase that I would choose. Again, up to you. But the next part that I wanted to talk about was when someone picks a fight. So this is when someone is just egging you on, and like really pushing your buttons. And you really want to diffuse the situation. So you can say, I don't want this to escalate. I'm sorry if I said the wrong thing. Or you could go with, looks like someone is cruising for a bruising. Let's not go with that one. All right, guys. And then the next one that I wanted to talk about is when someone interrupts you. So I hate being interrupted. Hate is a very strong word, but for me, I really do. It throws me off track. I lose my train of thought, and it flusters me, and it's hard for me to get back on track. So for this, I would go with I just have one more thing to say, and then I'll let you have the floor. Or if you'll let me finish, we can move on to your thoughts next. Or you can say, shut up, I'm still talking, which is very rude. Let's not be rude. So yeah, this book has so many different phrases and so many different situations that can be addressed using this book. And again, like I said, you can use it at work or at home. I think it's a great tool to have just handy lying around for any situation, because you never know when these things are going to come up. And again, it's called The Leader Phrase Book by Patrick Elaine. And that wraps up today's book. Thank you again for joining me, and remember to listen, learn, leverage, and launch.